homage goes out to Eli Manning, who finds out tonight if he is a Hall of Famer, if he's that golden jacket quarterback for the New York Football Giants. Oh, I hope he finds his way into the Hall in the first ballot, because if he doesn't, this could literally go on for years. And Eli Manning, if you take a look at his stats and you remove the name Manning, just take out the Manning moniker, and look at what he did in his career, what he has done on and off the field, the 2 Super Bowls, the 2 Super Bowl MVPs. At one point in time when he retired, he was in the top 10 of every single passing category. People will talk about the 500 record. People will talk about the interceptions. But if you take a look at the guys that are ahead of him on the all-time interception list, a lot of them are in the Hall of Fame. It's all about winning championships. And that's what Eli Manning did. And that's what he deserves to do. Because I still believe he's in the top 15 now, and still since his retirement, and all major passing categories. But like I said, you remove the name Manning and you put up these stats and you put up these Super Bowls and the MVPs and everything else, and then you look at it and you're like, and all the 4,000-yard seasons, and you look at it and you go, that guy's a Hall of Famer. But the problem is he's saddled with the Manning name. For good or for bad, that's just what goes on right now. Oh, let's give them something to talk about. Let's talk about the New York Football Giants. I want to go through a little bit of some salary cap talk. I want to go through some free agency. I want to go through some trades. All these things that you hear up and on the Twitter sphere. Let's start with Myles Garrett first. Oh. The moment that he went out and requested that trade from the Cleveland Browns, you knew Giant Twitter was going to go crazy. You knew it. You had the feeling, and because of the fact that you knew that people are going to just be like, we have to go get him. We're going to trade Kayvon Thibodeau, and I think a second rounder for him. Who wants Kayvon Thibodeau? You're going to have to decide soon if you want to pick up that $16 million fifth-year option for a guy who can't stay healthy, for a guy whose production has been suspect, for a guy that you had the tandem of the Ghost Brothers, and then all of a sudden he has all this tremendous trade value. I mean, listen, all this craziness, it just isn't going to work on this channel.
Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here. Not up in here.
Cleveland's going to want a haul. Cleveland's going to want to get as much as they can from everywhere from draft choices to young talent. They're not going to want to have to pick up on a fifth-year. They're a team that's in salary cap purgatory, Cleveland Browns, that is. They are not going to want to have to pick up the fifth-year option at $16 million for Kayvon Thibodeau, for a guy who disappears all the time, for a guy that will go have a plethora of sacks in like 5-6 games and then disappear for 8. And then everyone will talk about, well, it's the same thing with the pressures. We had to hear all the time with
King of the almost sack.
Well, that season, the first season with the Giants only had half a sack. Well, look at all the pressures he had. Pressure, and we've talked about this. Pressures need to equate to something. There are certain quarterbacks in this league that throw the ball better under duress. I always bring up the rookie season for Justin Herbert. That's just the way it is. So what did these pressures equate to with Kayvon Thibodeau? Was it a interception? Was it an incompletion? Was it a touchdown? Was it a loss of yards? Was it what did the pressure equate to? We never know, because they don't keep the stat of 46 pressures, 30 of them equated to incompletions. We don't know. Some quarterbacks, Tom Brady also comes to mind, Patrick Mahomes also comes to mind, want you to bring the heat because they can dissect the defense when they understand that there's going to be probably man-to-man coverage somewhere on that field, or there's a soft spot in the zone. You got a guy that doesn't play the run well in Kayvon Thibodeau, has never learned to maintain his assignment, hold his gap, and sit there and understand, you have to hold that edge. You have to hold it to the fact that you can't allow teams to just run directly at you. There is no team in this league that fears the Giants in reference to running directly at Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau, because they understand that they're going to get smoked. Myles Garrett, playing on a hurt foot and all the other injuries that he had last year, he still had 14 sacks. Look at his career record: 14, 16, 16, 12, 10, 13, 7. And those 7 sacks were only at his rookie season. Since 2017, he has got 102 and a half sacks. That's what he does. He gets after the quarterback. So why in their right mind would Cleveland want to pick up a $16 million option on a guy that we probably made a mistake on? We always talk about the mistake of Evan Neal. No one wants to talk about the mistake of Kayvon Thibodeau. We always want to pass that by. We want to just pass that by. The guy had 11 and a half sacks, and we laugh because we went through that 2023 season and we looked at the 11 and a half sacks. And I believe 2 of them came in the Seattle game, which was the very first series, and then the very last series of the game, which meant nothing. And there was a plethora of sacks that were meaningless sacks. He couldn't bring down the Jet, whose name we shall not say because I don't want him showing up in the Giant uniform. He couldn't close out the game in that Jet game. People talk about the 3 sacks he had in the Jet game, but we don't talk about the fact when that one certain quarterback ran away from Kayvon Thibodeau. Ran away from him quite easily. He's a guy that just doesn't have that. He doesn't have that second gear. Like I said, when he came out of Oregon, I didn't believe the rumors that he took a lot of plays off. But after watching him now for 3 years, he takes a lot of plays off. He takes a lot of plays off. He still gets pushed out to the sideline because he brings his rush and he loops way too far to the outside. Still. And the season where he had 11 and a half sacks in 2023, when he started cutting it to the inside against his opponent, he got to the quarterback more often. But he still loops way too far. And we talked about the facts that Brian Burns, him, are similar players. Brian Burns would have games for 3, 4, 5 games in a row where he would just totally disappear. And we talked about it during the trade. What's going to happen when you run into that game when both of them disappear at the same time? And that happened game 1 and went on for a while. So stop with the Myles Garrett shit, please. I mean, for the love of God, please. Giants salary cap situation. Giants have a plethora of money. And there are reasons why they have a shit ton of money. And every Giant content creator, everyone else wants to talk about the fact that they have $47 million in cap space right now, and they could actually have like $60 million. Okay, yeah, that's true, 100%. But you are literally going to have to gut the entire roster to have all this cap space. You're going to have to make moves. You're probably going to have to get rid of Bobby Okereke. You're probably going to try to move on from Devin Singletary. You're going to probably move on from Graham Gano. You're probably going to move on from the Nacho Man. Brian Burns takes up almost 11% of your salary cap. I love it because Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau take up almost 16% of your entire salary cap. Yeah, and you can make these moves and have this plethora of salary cap, but everyone's overlooking the largest issue with the Giants salary cap, which is we don't have a quarterback on the roster. So, of course, your salary cap is going to be flushed with cash because you don't have a quarterback on your roster. And you only have 47 total contracts right now. You only have 47 total contracts for 2025 and no quarterback. Quarterbacks usually eat up anywhere between 15 to 18% of your salary cap, especially if you have a good one. So think of the fact that normally a quarterback could eat up anywhere between $25 to $45 million in salary cap space right off the bat. And when you don't have a quarterback, it's a little bit harder to play football. And so all the people are like, well, we could have $68 million. That's great. But how are you going to lure free agents to come to New York? You had 9-7-1 season, which we all talked about. The fact that you go start 7-2, then 2-5-1. Then you win 6 games. Then you win 3 games. You're going the wrong direction. You're going to start having aging talent because Brian Burns is already 27. Dexter Lawrence is 28. Bobby Okereke is already 29. Kayvon Thibodeau, hell's already 25. Ellie Moore Fudd's 31. You're going to start having a little bit more. You have a lot of young talent, but some of your bigger name guys are starting to hit, are starting to go on to that second contract. You don't have a quarterback. That's why you're flushed with cap space. And you only have 40-something guys under contracts. And you're going to have to overpay for free agents like we did last year when we got an average John Runyon Jr., when we made a huge mistake signing the motor. Ellie Moore Fudd's been a good enough player, but I'm not in love with this guy's talent. I love what Joe Shane's talking about, how we got 4 or 5 offensive linemen coming back. Yeah, when you have 4 or 5 awesome offensive linemen coming back and they're not that great, what does it really matter? I mean, think about that for a moment. What does that matter? It doesn't really matter. And I got stuff coming in here. I was playing another video because I was looking for a comment from today because we always have to do our favorite segment, which is Stupid Giant Twitter post. But now we're going to have to give this one to Davis Sinclair.
Stupid Giant Twitter post.
Well, this is not a Stupid Giant Twitter post. This is a Stupid Giant YouTube post. And I like Davis a lot. He says, I can't wait till draft day, Tim, without continuously slandering Joe Shane. Is it your plan through the combine up to the draft day? Sounds sad. Misery loves company, though. Here's the problem, Davis. It's not slander if everything that I have said is accurate and true and can be backed up by facts. It's not slander. Slander is when you say something against someone that tarnishes their reputation that turns out not to be true. Everything I say about Joe Shane is 100% accurate. So it's not slander. we just got to leave it at that. Giant free agency, as we talk about the salary cap a little bit. People are always asking me, well, who the Giants should go out and sign right now in free agency, and the season isn't over yet. How are we supposed to predict this when the season's not even done yet? Let's wait till the season's done. Let's wait till we see who is going to be tagged. Let's see. Then we can kind of go on from there. And then we can figure out how to rebuild this roster. But let's at least wait till the end. That's like when people are like, well, who's your draft? Let's wait till the end of the season, which is this Sunday. Let's just wait a minute. Let's just take a deep breath and wait. And then we can kind of figure out what ways the Giants can rebuild this roster. Because you are now in year 4 of a total breakdown rebuild. No doubt about it. This is a total breakdown rebuild in year 4 of the Joe Shane regime. So if you strip down the roster like everybody wants to and sign this plethora of free agents, you're probably and still don't have a quarterback, you're probably another 3 to 4 years away from being good. Which means that, and like I said, is there an opportunity to turn this team around by getting a quarterback? No. I think any quarterback going into this situation, if they're a rookie or if they're a free agent, is going to suffer. They are going to have to deal with the wrath of the fans when things go poorly next year, because expectations are going to be so high after getting rid of Daniel Jones that we just need to take a moment. And I love it because people are like, well, the Giants' offensive line did play better, so you put a rookie quarterback behind her. Yeah, the year before they gave up 70 sacks. I think this year they only gave up 46. Was that the factors of the offensive line playing better, or just the fact that we ran a dink and dunk, chuck and duck offense? I think if you sit there with a rookie quarterback and have this same offensive line and you have them looking downfield, you know what you're going to need?
Get him a body bag, Johnny! Yeah!
You're going to need to get him a body bag. Any quarterback you bring in. Because of the fact that you still need I'm not 100% sold on Tyrone Tracy yet. Let's see what happens when the league has film, and let's see what they do. Not sold on the offensive line. Not sold on the wide receivers outside of Malik Neighbors. Not sold on the tight end position. And then we literally have, I was trying to hearken back to figure out when a team literally had no quarterback on their roster. None. I don't even count Tommy DeVito as a quarterback. Jersey Shore Tommy, to me, is known for best, basically, and on this channel, just being a soundbite. That's what he is, and that's your guy, and that's all you got. And like I said, that's it.
Jersey Shore Tommy.
Wait for the beat to drop.
That's what he's best known for. And screwing up our draft. So what are we going to do with that? No, nothing we can do with that. So, everyone's undefeated in February in the NFL. Outside, well, it's not true. Everyone will be undefeated when that final gun is fired. Well, they don't have a gun anymore. Everyone will be undefeated in the NFL when the clock strikes 0 at the end of the Super Bowl. Everyone will be back undefeated for that season. So everyone can have hope. Everyone else can have delusions of grandeur, which is fine. But reality is going to quickly set in. And there's going to be so much hype and expectations. But until you find your quarterback, until you can rebuild this roster, until Joe Schoen can get a trade right, this team is going to be like this for the next 3-4 years. And I think one of the happiest times we're going to have as Giant fans may be today if Eli Manning hopefully makes the Hall of Fame. Oh, we got a lot. Let's give him something to talk about. This is Tim's New York Giants Trade Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC, and I'm out of here.